Hello and welcome back. So it is the new year. It's 2022. So new year, everyone's super psyched. And of course, jumping on the bandwagon of everyone else, I'm gonna try and actually keep up with my New Year's resolutions, my goals for this year, which includes weekly uploads. So, starting off strong, first of the year, here we are. Hello. Continuing with the Rune series I started last year. But here we are. To be fair, catching the plague kind of delayed things for a minute, and then of course the holidays and all of that jazz. But nonetheless, here we are for the third of the runes. So this is Thrasos, which I'm probably also mispronouncing. Story of my life. Like I mentioned, this is the third rune in the Elder Futhark set, so this is shaped kind of like a P-ish. It's pretty even. I'll show a picture of it. But equal space top to bottom. There's a different one that actually has more of a P shape, so I guess maybe more of like a D-ish for kind of translating it into English. Nonetheless, this shape. Also in, I believe it was Freya Norling's video, she mentioned how if you turn it on its side, it looks like a mountain. It's an easy way to remember it as well. Which I will mention this, I do think her video is the best one in regards to the runes, all the books, everything. That video in particular for this rune, I feel like is the best one to cover the information for this rune, so 10 out of 10 recommend it. I will link it down below. Go check that one out because she covered it really good. But as I've said before, if you're new here, we're learning the runes together, so this is what I have found and added to my own little notebook here. So to start off with, what this rune rules over. So of course, Thrasos, it rules over thorns. It's nature balanced. This rune, with its association with Thor, obviously it's going to have a huge connection to protection. Also, as I mentioned earlier, mountains. Again, Freya Norling really covered this topic quite well. It's also the rune of regeneration. So I labeled this one as active potency, but in the book, they did say it was masculine potency. I don't like to assign genders to what kind of energetic thing it's got going on for it. I feel like it's just more like active and passive, and even that, it's just kind of like, meh. But I don't like to use masculine and feminine, because I feel like masculine doesn't necessarily ever have to be just related to men, or like manly things. It's just a more active. Again, it's the only phrase that I've found that works for my practice. You could also call it like solar or lunar, whatever, but nonetheless, it's kind of more of the active, you know, go-getter, working vibes, best way to put it. Because again, I don't like to gender my stuff too much if I don't have to. It's also in charge of weather, mostly storms. It's for good luck. It's also for good health. This also rules over hasty decisions made by weakness, like especially like inner weaknesses, and self-deception that leads to new problems. Gods associated with this rune, obviously we've got Thor. That's what 90% of the books are going to talk about for this rune. It's Thor. It's his rune. If you're going to have a rune to symbolize him, it's this one. There's also the Jotnar. Definitely mispronouncing words, because again, that's what I am the queen of. Then we also have Ymir. Again, butchering words. But the Jotnar, again, butchering words. Well, we'll go over the list. Thor, if you don't know, he's the Norse god. That is the son of Odin. He's kind of the main protector. He's also the god of the common people, often associated with thunder and storms and protection. Then you have the Jotnar, whatever, that word, that one. I believe they are the giants. Don't quote me, I'm not very good at my Norse mythology completely. Then we also have Ymir, again, butchering languages. And that is the, I believe it was a giant that, like, somehow or another got killed. I know there's stories. I know I should read Norse mythology by Neil Gaiman one day. Not today, though. Anyways, the world basically is his body. We're living in his body. His skull is like the mountains or something, and like his, anyways, all of the various parts of his body are different things found on Earth. And basically, the plane that we exist on is his corpse. Norse mythology is a wild ride if you get into it. The colors associated with this rune, again, colors are my thing. No book mentions these, this is just what I connect them with. So with the storm association, I picked gray because whether it's like a rainstorm, a hailstorm, a snowstorm, any kind of storms, it's gonna be gray clouds. So gray. I also picked dark red because of the thorn and pricking and blood, and then black because it just feels like a dark, ominous and kind of like don't mess with me kind of a rune. And also black is really good for protection magic, and so naturally, why not? And plus, if you think of roses, like darks and dark reds kind of go with it. Of course, there's roses of all various shades, but most of the time I think of a dark red. Runes to combine with. As per usual, I will mispronounce them, so here we go. We have Ehwaz. I think that's how it's pronounced. And I don't even know. We're just gonna try, like, I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet for luck and protection. This is where I'm just looking here because I can't even with these words. So we got Hagal, not rune, Need, and Isa, to postpone any endeavor. Then we have with Onsus, I think it's pronounced Jira. Again, wonderful. People who know how to pronounce these are cringing so hard right now. Or Manas, whatever. Consult someone wiser and more impartial for any decisions. And then Kinas, a person you feel threatened by or someone you perceive as weaker or subordinate to you is about to come to the forefront. And then ways to use this rune. Wear it as protection. Make a symbol of it over food or drink, which really honestly a lot of the uses for this is what you could also use your Thor's hammer for. So keep that in mind. A lot of these was just like, oh, it's Thor and Thor's hammer. That's what this is. And I feel like we kind of missed like what this rune could mean on its own outside of that whole sphere, but keep that in mind. This one was very pertinent to my life. Used to bless a bride at the wedding, which I was like, okay. Carved to draw out evil. Draw on your forehead for energy to like increase your energy, which we also had, I think it was Uruz said the same thing, but okay. And intone this rune to manifest storms. And of course there was kind of a warning with that obviously if you live, you know, somewhere that never gets snow and you're trying to manifest a snowstorm, like that's not gonna happen. But if it's like realistically it could happen and then you're trying to manifest it, it'll kind of, you know, encourage it along. Such as right now, like we're supposed to have a bunch of snowstorms. If I use this rune to kind of be like, hey, snow, remember how you're supposed to be here to like give us water and stuff for the year? If we could get on that, don't mind my man sneezing upstairs. But like if we could get on that would be great. So that is it for the next rune in our series. And I am going to be uploading these every week until we are through the entire set. So stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you guys soon, and eventually we will be reading through more books throughout the year. But for now, I've come to accept that I have to just get through a series consistently, just do it and then move on. So I do have plans for this year. I'm going to do all of the runes for the following, like, what, 20-something weeks. And then we'll move into some book reviews. I have a bunch of books that I want to read this year. They're actually all behind me. You can't see them all, but I promise they're actually here. And so I will be talking about those in the coming months. There's some that I might like sprinkle in here and there because I have more books to read than weeks in the year. And also, of course, I'll be talking about planning our witchy wedding. And I've just decided to kind of like hold off until everything's kind of done with it for the most part and then jump into it. So things will be coming this year. So anyways, that is going to be it for the first video of the year of 2022 and the third rune in the series. I hope to see you all next week as we continue learning the runes.